Hi, I'm Stephen Cuomo, executive producer of Santa Fe Fashion Week, and you're listening to Santa Fe Fashion Week, Fashion Behind the Curtain podcast. Welcome to our show, Sima. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much, Stephen, for having me on your show. Yes, my name is Sima Azadegan, and I'm the founder of my company, Sima Collezione.
Fantastic. So the brand is relatively new. Is that correct?
Yes, this brand came about to me around 5 years ago during the dark days of COVID when I decided for the first time to step into my own authentic shoes and follow my dream and passion that I had ever since I was a little girl.
This is something you've always thought about, like you said, since you were a little girl. Do you have a background in fashion, or were you professionally trained in fashion, or how did you get into the fashion industry?
No, I do not have, and I never did. Took fashion classes. I never took, no, I don't have any degree or license in fashion. But it was designing was always something that I've always wanted to do. And all throughout my life, I loved fashion. I knew exactly what to dress, how to dress, what to choose. So I had this innate interest and an innate passion for fashion, but I never really acted upon it until the dark days of COVID came, where we were bombarded with news and media, and that's when I started to ignore the news that was coming in through COVID and ignore my friends texting me all the time. And so this was, I believe, March of 2020 when I got myself a leather book, a sketching leather book where all the pages are intact into this leather book. So anybody who comes and sees this leather book will see, well, all the pages are there. And I started sketching designs. And these were evening wear designs. And these designs would come to me in a heartbeat of a second. Now, they would come to me in a second and I would sketch them and I'm done. So in this leather book sketchbook that I have, there are no eraser marks. There are no redos. There are just designs that came during COVID and I started naming them. Let's say the first dress I started calling the red dress. And I have my own signature there. The second one was the pink dress. The third one was the blue dress, the yellow dress. So this went on for about, on and off. But in a 1 month span, I had sketched over 50 high style, sophisticated evening wear dresses without looking at a magazine or cup or nothing. I listened to my intuition, I listened to my higher consciousness. And at that time during COVID, I was, I believe, aligned so that I could actually sketch these because sometimes thoughts do come in our heads. But to be able to coordinate that with yourself and sketch these, that's something else. Now if you ask me, Seema, are these sketches sophisticated? Are they like people do with 3D and all of that stuff? No, these sketches are as simple as you could ever believe. When you see the sketches, and anytime anybody wants, I can show my original sketches. All the details are there. We're talking about the style, we're talking about the fabric, we're talking about the embellishments. They're precisely put on these sketches. Obviously, I knew they were coming to me through my higher consciousness, through the grace of God. So that's when I started taking this journey forward. And I truly believe COVID gave me that opportunity. If it wasn't COVID, I would be probably, doing so many other things with my life. But since we were home and, so that's when I started taking apparel entrepreneurship classes online. When I saw these sketches that I'm doing, I knew I was up to something. Something deep down told me, Sima, you're up to something. I started taking apparel entrepreneurship classes online with a team in, I think they were in Sweden, Klaus and Hannah, where I would wake up 6 in the morning and until like 12 or 1 in the afternoon and taking notes on how to launch a brand from A to Z. So I took a 6 weeks course on that. And then after that, I knew and I was connected to a brand specialist in Italy. His name is David Clementino. And he said, well, okay, Sima, you've got all of these sketches. Like everyone in the world has dresses. What's going to make your dresses stand out among all the other dresses in the world is going to be your brand. And at that time, I think it was maybe, August. I started in March. I think in August, I took a 6 weeks course with David Clementoni where I established my brand. And it didn't take me long because I knew and I was listening to my intuition and I was listening to my higher consciousness that these sketches that have come to me, they are serving a purpose. They are serving a mission that I'm here to do. They're not just dresses. So what was the mission? And after studying with David and getting to understanding to know what a brand is, I came up with my own brand was and is to this day the mission of Sima Collezione is to empower the inner light and beauty within each woman, and each sale will help another person in need through the brand's charity. Now you ask me, why did you choose that? How did this come to you? Well, because the mission of Sima Collection and what I just told you is the authentic, honest, what resonated with me and still resonates with me after 5 years to this day. Those dresses, they come about and they're here to disrupt the fashion industry. These dresses are here to teach people to focus more about your inner light and inner beauty rather than concentrate what the outside world, what the society world, the world is expecting you to be. I'm bringing something new to the table. I'm bringing something authentic to the table. So, inner light and beauty definitely was exactly what these dresses are because they've come to my higher consciousness. These are not things that I've just, these are coming from divinity, they're coming from nature, they're so authentic. And helping charities. Well, I have for all of my life been on top of four major charities. I was a board member of Neuromuscular Disease Foundation, Hadassah, Beyond Vision, which helps the blind. So it was very easy for me to know that this brand, my brand, not only is going to manifest the creations, help empower the inner light and beauty within each woman, and also, and to this day, I'm standing by this brand and my mission, it will help charities all across the world. And so at that time, I formulated my brand and it went forward with David Clementoni. I had learned how to launch the brand with school that I went online. So it was a very interesting time during COVID. And so I formulated my brand. I put my some photos I took, I put it on the website, I put my mission on the website. And Stephen, in December of 2020, that's about 6 months after I started even sketching those designs in my leather sketchbook. One of these ladies, which I would talk to, and I would be very careful about showing these dresses because, these days there's so many of those, snakes and lizards, I call them. But so I was very careful. I would just show some of these sketches and I had them in CAD illustrations. And she said, well, Sima, we have seen, she was in the fashion industry for 40 years. She said, Sima, I have seen everything in the fashion industry, but I have not seen anything what you have done. I said, well, of course, nobody has seen it because these are so raw. These are so authentic. These are so genuine. I'm not here trying to make things work. These have just come to me organically. She said, so why don't you apply for New York Fashion Week? And I said, okay, I have nothing to lose. So December, I sent in my application to New York Fashion Week. And how did I do that? I filled the form and I sent in, I had created 50 designs in CAD illustrations. CAD illustrations are the computer version of my own sketches. So I had somebody help me and we could design the CAD illustrations. So I sent them in December of 2020. And guess what? January of 2021, I am informed that I've been chosen as one of the designers to feature her collection at New York Fashion Week, September of 2021. Well, isn't that the act of God's grace? Of course. How does that happen to anybody who's never taken a fashion class, never taken a fashion, nothing? And I had gotten into New York Fashion Week January of 2021 without having a dress made. Now, where does that come from?
No, so at that point, so you have these, it's really great you jumped into these classes. I mean, that's really a profound way to do things. I mean, you really put your mind to it, and yeah, obviously had a lot of skills, and then you filled in the blanks of things that you need to learn about the fashion industry. So now you get accepted to New York Fashion Week, and you have these sketches and CAD illustrations and stuff like that. But you really haven't manufactured anything yet, or any products to show at this time.
Nothing. January of 2021, I get a letter from Flying Solo, lovely company. I love them very nicely. I'm in touch with everybody who I've worked with. Sima, you're in. Now, what happens then is that you have to kind of make a decision that you're going to either do it, you're going to accept the invitation, or you're going to decline. I don't have a dress made, Stephen. What do?
Mhm.
I decide to accept the invitation. And I was going to do it no matter what. And I did. I got connected to an amazing lady. She's a wonderful, and I'm very friends with her. And we decided to create the collection. At that time, we were supposed to feature 8 dresses, New York Fashion Week 2021. Well, we featured 10. And during the time that I was making the collection, that's what's so interesting about my collection. And I truly believe to this day, no one has done what I have done. So as I was making the collection, we started with the black dress. Now, as the black, and it would take about, and this is all during COVID, okay? I would put masks on, get all the everything that I needed to go to downtown LA, take it to her house, we'll talk about it. And so what happened while I was developing these dresses with her, well, she's the seamstress, but these dresses, they embody so much essence. They embody such stories. They embody everything that was coming into me while I was creating the dresses. So let's say I create the black dress. Is I think it's the first it's the first dress that I made. I knew at that instant that black dress is my signature dress, Sima Collezione. So I made an artwork for Sima Collezione with the black dress. Then let's say we went on to the red diamond dress, which is all over. I have photos of the red diamond dress, which is like, it's like a harlequin dress. And I gave it the meaning, well, when you're playing the game of life, are you the queen of red diamonds or black diamonds? And I made an artwork of that. Then I went to the green flower dress, which is the green dress with dark green flowers coming down. And that dress is, it's a field of greens with green flowers rushing down a field of green. So it has a lot of story. The divided dress. I have a divided dress talks about the divided world that we live in. Not only the divided world that we live in, but the division that we have within us, within ourselves, between good and bad, righteousness and evil. So every dress that I made through that time, and these the dresses are just one of a kind. I embodied, and I gave them a story, a theme that encompassed the themes of love, hope, faith, compassion, human kindness. They're all in there, and I have an artwork that portrays each dress. So New York Fashion Week was amazing. I closed the show. It was flying solo. We were on the rooftop. It was just amazing. Amazing. And I talk about it that for the first time in my life, I had done a lot of things during my life. Been a teacher, been in charities, did a lot of introspective work on myself, but walking my own walk at New York Fashion Week was truthful, was honest. I'm walking my own walk. And it was amazing. So I come back and I'm flying down from New York Fashion Week with my lady friend who helped me make the dresses and the dressmaker. I'm landing and I open my telephone. Oh my God, Sima, one of the one of the photographers who was there, this is September of 2021, one of the photographers who was there took a photo of my dress, the green flower dress, and guess what? It has ended up in Vogue Italy. So it was just one thing after another. After New York Fashion Week, I found out that one of my designs were in Weekly Style runway, the other one is in V runway. And then, I mean, I can just go on and on and on because that's when the journey started. I was asked to go to Milan Fashion Week, I was asked to go to Paris Fashion Week, and I did. Just these magical doors opened up for me, and the grace of God. I'm just a vessel, I'm just a servant following my intuition, my alignment, and moving and taking this mission forward.
That sounds great. So let's back up a little bit. So going
Sure.
from, you have your sketches, you have your CAD, you go, you have this vision and you found this wonderful woman to kind of, guide you through this whole process. How'd you go about doing that for people that are looking to get into the fashion industry and really don't have a background in fashion? Tell me about that relationship and how you two connected.
Well, I believe everybody has different journeys. Everybody comes into what they're supposed to do, what they're meant to do at different times of their lives. Listen, Stephen, this came to me at the age of 50, 50, where I had lived my life, where I had done an incredible amount of self introspective work on myself. As I talk about it, the darkest days of my soul. I think 15 years I did go through that to get to this point. As much
Mm.
as you can, do follow your dream and your passion. Obviously, when you're following your dream and passion, I also talk about you need to also think logically as well. It's an alignment between your logical mind and your heart. So sometimes people say, well, I'm going to follow my passion. Well, they do follow their passion, but if you're not thinking logically through this, you won't be able to get what you want. It's an alignment of being able to think and process things, and also being able to follow your passion and dreams. But one thing I always say, and I'm going to always talk about it till the end of day, is that when I started this, listen, I had so many naysayers. And these are people very close to me. They didn't believe in me. What are you doing after all these years of your life? You should be just, enjoying your life. And you have to raise my kids and family. It was very easy if I had to succumb to their disbelief. So I love, and I would love to say, please do not listen to other people. Only listen to yourself. You can get advice, but only with the right people that do support your cause. But a lot of people, they are not happy. A lot of people, they're just, they no, no. So it's important to listen to yourself. It's important to obviously get good advice, but with people that are supportive of you, truthfully supportive of you, and also be aligned with your heart, and also you need to be processing things logically as well. Let me see how, if I do this, what is going to be the outcome. So it's a matter of both alignment of your heart and your mind.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of critical thinking. I think some people they'll get advice almost hoping that someone will talk them out of it. Say, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't go down that path. It does take a lot of critical thinking. Passion alone isn't enough. You like you did. I mean, you had the passion, but also you did the research and thought like, if this happens, what if that happens? And but going back to that original question, meeting this person that's helping you walk through this process, how'd you kind of find this person? How'd you connect with that person to help you with your fashion designs?
Sure. I met this person through a mutual friend who loved my designs, and actually she wanted this lady to make the designs so that she can wear the designs and be on all over the press. And I'm not going to give her name, but she's a celebrity. And so
Okay.
she connected me to this wonderful lady. And so this wonderful lady made the dresses. And obviously, this celebrity lady did walk down New York Fashion Week, and she was on all, news, and she was all over. So through a connection that I had with this celebrity, which I met through my brother-in-law, I got connected to my friend who helped me make the dresses.
There any surprises that you came across, as far as picking fabrics or any challenges that you didn't realize that might be a challenge when making your first dress?
Uh, no. Why do I say no? Because when I met my friend who made the dresses with me, we were so aligned. We were about the same age, and I knew that, what is in my vision. She we had such similar characteristics, similar behaviors. So we were so aligned while doing these dresses. Even during COVID, I'm in COVID, and just things went smoothly and effortlessly, and because the choice that I made with this lady, choosing this lady was the right one. So everything just was effortless. I got the fabrics from downtown LA. I got the gemstones from downtown LA, and these fabrics and gemstones are just, one of a kind. The silk fabrication in my dresses, there's nothing in the world like them. And the gemstones that I chose are Swarovskis. In the whole entire collection of the long evening dresses. So it was just an amazing collaboration that I had with this lady, and we were just actually enjoying our time making the dresses and going through it. So by September I showed 10 dresses, and then when I came back, when I got selected for Milan and Paris Fashion Week, I told her and I said, you know what, we have 10 dresses, but I can't show the 10 dresses that I showed in New York Fashion Week. We have to make another 5 more. So I went back to her and we made 5 more dresses. So in Milan Fashion Week, when I went February of 2022, I went by myself. It was COVID. No one came. I took 4 suitcases all by myself and I went to Milan. And it was the best experience of my lifetime. So in Milan, I featured the collection, not necessarily, I showed some of the dresses that I did in New York, but in Milan, it was at the Palazzo Visconti, and there were only 5 designers chosen from the entire world, and I was one of them. And so it was just amazing, my experience in Milan. Not only the show, with Italians, the Italians are, very, very particular with the dresses. If a stitch is loose, if a stone is loose, they're going to take you aside. Sima, you need to fix this stone, or Sima, you have to do that. So I had to be on top of every single dress. I had to be on top of, and I didn't have, I did hire somebody to help me at that time. And there were people there, helping me dressing the models, but 99.9% of the time was up to me to dress the models, to make sure that the models are walking properly, to make sure that I'm kind to the models. These models, they're just, there's just so much pressure on them. And I didn't want to put a lot of pressure on these wonderful models in Italy. But yes, I did. I featured the collection, and it was insane. My walk again in Milan. I love walking my own walk in Milan, and what happened 24 hours later was nothing short of a miracle. Because when I went to my hotel room, my family came to at that time. I was in the room with my daughter, and my God, I find out that I'm in Elle. I'm in Harper's Bazaar. I'm in Marie Claire. Now, these are not, press releases that anybody can get into. These are in the internet. So you have to really, really be, and Italians too. They don't, you can't, they're amazing. They know fashion. So not only all of my dresses, including my dress, is in Elle.com in Italy, Harper's Bazaar in Italy, Marie Claire, I think 10 other channels.
You've had such great success. So where do you kind of go from here now? I mean, I mean, 4 or 5 years from from COVID and having this concept and having such amazing success. Where do you go from here?
Where do you go? What do you do? Because Milan didn't stop. Because after that, I went to Paris. The same thing happened. I went to Paris Fashion Week, Galerie La Bourbon, back-to-back top international fashion press. Then I went to Abu Dhabi, and I showed the dresses again, and I had incredible amount of experience. Then I went back 2022 again in Paris, American Cathedral, back to with 3 times in a row, and back to back in the top fashion press of the world. Now, what do you do?
That's amazing
I've had
success.
some amazing. So what happened? I had to learn, and I had a lot of opportunities coming back from 2022 Paris Fashion Week. I had a lot of people. Somehow I wasn't about to give these dresses or to align with just anybody to make money, and no. From the beginning, these were mission, purpose. This is a vision. This is a mission. And I had to be so careful that I aligned myself with the right people, with sales and marketing. I stuck to my brand and I didn't give it to anybody. It's very hard what I'm telling you. It's
Mhm.
very stiff. It's very, very difficult what I had to go through. And listen, I don't have a big team that's helping me or guiding me. No. Everybody knows. Everybody who knows Sima is I'm solo. So I had to really dig in to my inner soul and inner gut. How am I going to take this forward? If this is going to come through a mission, am I just going to align myself with just people that want to make money and make a circus act out of this? No. It's not going to be a circus act. I have a responsibility. God didn't give these dresses to me for me to make a circus act. Listen, I had opportunities to align because I was in LA Fashion Week 2 times as well. I had an opportunity, many, many opportunities to give these dresses to influencers and celebrities. I didn't. It was going to lose its dignity, it was going to lose its integrity. These dresses have the highest, most amount of, I believe, vibration, dignity, and integrity. And I was not going to go that route. So I had to just find my way and prayed a lot, and had faith, and it was difficult. But now I can say certain things are happening because I did go to Paris Fashion Week one more time in September of 2024. So that is 3 times that I've gone to Paris. With all humility, it's an amazing experience. To show your dresses at the biggest fashion show of the world. And I was showing my short dress collection, which I actually made with an incredible production team, which I was connected to in 2023. Incredible production team in Italy. Incredible. Now, the workmanship of these Italians who have made the short dresses, there's nothing in the world like it. And I'm standing very strong, confident about this. There's nothing like it. I mean, it's seamless. The dresses are so smooth. They're so seamless. They're just so refined. So refined. So when I showed these dresses in Paris Fashion Week 2024, I had a friend of mine who I had known from Italy when I was in Italy in 2022, and he reached out to me and said, "Sima, I think it's time for you to have a showroom in Milan." Now, Stephen, I have held on to this brand.
Mhm.
2020, I started it. I held on to this brand 4 years. 2024, a lot of opportunists, a lot of this, but I just somehow energetically, I could not give this brand to just anybody. So I waited. And then when my friend said, "Well, a Milan showroom," and I said, "Oh, well, now we're talking." Because I'm going to have a mission to help the world. And my vision is to create dresses and help the world. It has to come with the fashion capital of the world, Milan. So now the dresses are in a beautiful showroom in Milan. I went in September. It took them by myself again. At this time, I had 5 suitcases. One was mine, and the four was the two collections. So I usually like to travel by myself because these dresses are like my babies. They're like part
Mhm.
of me. I'm so connected to them. I'm like energetically, spiritually, I'm very connected to my dresses. So I went all by myself. They're in a beautiful showroom in Milan at this point, and now I'm working with Italians, top people in the fashion industry. And hopefully, God willing, we're going to have something coming up in 2026.
That sounds amazing. Well, we love to follow your journey, and my hat's off to you for all your success. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we connected.
Thank you.
So, like I said, we have a lot of emerging designers. I mean, I think we have people in all stages of the fashion industry watching or listening to our podcast. Any insightful thoughts that maybe you might want to share with some emerging designers, and maybe some of the takeaways from some of the different fashion shows you participated in?
Sure. With the new emerging designers, as I said, listen, fashion is such an art. It's such an art form, and you have to be truthfully and authentically you. The dresses or whatever you create has to be so truthfully and authentically who or you are. And that's what resonates with the world. And that's what's going to resonate with people in the top fashion world because they know that this is truthfully, authentically who you are. So that's one advice. Second is Do not listen to naysayers. Okay, you're going to have a lot of people do not listen to, but do get advice from people who are supportive, who believe in your cause, and surround yourself with people who do believe in your cause, because that's very important to be supportive. Now, fashion shows, that's a different, that's a different scenarios. Every time I went to a fashion show, I had different experiences. So with the fashion shows, even though I'm with the one person, one lady, person during the whole thing, with the fashion shows, just be truthfully who you are and represent truthfully what you're here to represent.
What value? I mean, obviously, you see a lot of value in participating in fashion shows, fashion weeks, and stuff like that. What do for designers that think about participating in fashion shows? What are the expectations? I mean, what do you think designers should expect from participating in shows? What was there things that maybe fell flat or was beyond what your expectations were being first time showing a collection at different fashion weeks?
Sure. What happens when you go to fashion shows, it kind of opens the door for you. I started in New York, and that's when the doors opened in Milan and Paris. So when you do participate in fashion shows, but we're talking about fashion shows that are internationally. We're talking about New York. We're talking about those fashion shows. That's where all these top people are looking into. Okay, what's the new trend? What is this designer coming up to? So those New York Fashion Week opened the door for me. And I'm very grateful to the team at Flying Solo. I love them, Alina and Elizabeth. So what happens when you do participate? It opens the doors for you to participate in other fashion shows. So that's what happened to me. But everybody's experience is different. Everybody, they go on a fashion show, and then they have to. I believe it varies. But for me, the fashion shows opened up doors for me, and other experiences opened up for me. I literally was invited to seven, and I did show the collection in seven international fashion shows. And through that, you gain your networking. Through that, you meet people. Through that, and then it's through the networking and the people you meet that you can gradually build your brand organically and authentically. And that's another thing. Building your brand organically is very important, because what I saw was that I was going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm not here to just, take these dresses and show them. No. So I did it very slowly. And even to this day, I'm working very slowly with my team in Italy. It doesn't matter as long as it takes, as long as the alignment is correct, so that we do not come into, issues and problems later on. You have to make sure your decisions with the people that you're dealing with is like has a great strong foundation.
Well, I think it's interesting. I'm 61, about to turn 62, and I think that growing organically and maybe being more patient. I don't know if that comes with age. I think a lot of people, they want immediate gratification. So if things aren't happening fast enough, and then going back to the fashion shows, I think obviously it's great to be able to show and get immediate response from the audience, but it's that networking and the people that you meet at these different events that can open up a lot of doors.
It's about that. It's about that. That's how it happened to me. I mean, what I went into Milan Fashion Week in 2022, it opened the door for me to find a production team in Italy, which is huge. Grateful to the person who helped me go to Italy, and that my production team is in Naples right now, Stephen. We're talking about
Nothing.
Sima Collezione is there in Naples, which is huge.
No, it is huge. I think, a lot of people lean on, social media and TikTok. Obviously, you can reach a lot of people that way, but in person is just so much stronger. In person networking, fashion shows are very, very powerful.
Yeah, I am not one of those people. And I mean, I do post, but I think it's just been saturated. They're not authentic. People in Instagram and Facebook, and it's just it's like a bubble, which is not really truthful.
Well, I do appreciate you. And thanks again so much for being on our show. I'd love to have you back. And,
Absolutely. I hope I can help, anybody at any time wants advice or help, or, more than happy to email me, and, I just love to help, and, any advice that I can give to, emerging designers, be more than happy to.
fantastic. And as always, if you work in the fashion industry and would like to be a guest on Santa Fe Fashion Week, Fashion Brand and Current podcast, please feel free to reach out. Thanks again, Sima. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Stephen.